Welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. We touch on football again. Manchester United's forward Anthony Martial has successfully engineered a 6-month loan move to the Liga club Sevilla as he seeks to force his way back into France's setup ahead of the 2022 World Cup set to begin in November. The 26-year-old will have all of his £240,000 a week salary paid by Sevilla, with Man United foregoing a loan fee. Martial has been starving for game time as he has made just 11 appearances in all competitions for Man United this season, with only 4 being starts. Now he joins Sevilla, who are second in La Liga and 4 points behind the leaders Real Madrid. Former Trinidad and Tobago international and SportsMax analyst Brent Sancho joins us now. Brent, the 3 parties involved in the deal, who benefits most here? Martial, Sevilla, or Man United?
I think that's $1 million question, Lance. It's a hard one, and it's because you don't know what you're going to get from Anthony Martial. I think there's not a football analyst in world football can put their head on the block and say that this is exactly what you're going to get from Anthony Martial. There's a reason why he's going out on loan. He's been extremely inconsistent since he signed from Monaco across to Manchester United. So it's hard to say. I think it's a gamble by Sevilla, and if I was Sevilla, I would make that gamble, because if you remember the run into La Liga last season, you would have to say they found themselves a bit light up front, and it's one of the reasons why they weren't able to, of course, challenge for the La Liga title. And I think from their perspective, they're looking at it as a situation where they can get someone in and maybe light under him and get the Anthony Martial that takes on players and score goals.
Yeah, he had moved from Monaco to Man United as the most expensive teenager in the world based on the transfer fee. But he has, as you mentioned, Brent, not flourished at Manchester United. And you know what? Successive coaches have had difficulties with him. We have seen sometimes when there's a change of coach, a player will warm to a different coach. But to be quite honest, successive coaches at Man United have been unable to get Martial to deliver his best.
Yeah, and I'm probably going to go down a road that most people may not agree with here, Lance. But I would say that he came in at a time where, of course, Alex Ferguson, who was not around really, he needed a little bit of Alex Ferguson time, someone that could put their arm around him and develop him as a talent. I think he came in at a very turmoil time at Manchester United. A lot of changes of managers, different personalities coming in and out. And in his defense, Anthony Martial's defense, maybe that is the reason why we've not seen the best of him. It's something that many don't look at as a reason for his disappointing performances so far. But it's something I'm willing to go down the road with, because we've seen flashes. And the flashes that we've seen, he was outstanding, but the consistency has never been there. And I said, a young talent coming in, as you rightfully said, a teenager that has expected so much of. But I think the dressing room, the locker room, as I said, the topsy-turvy atmosphere at Manchester United may be contributing to the fact that he's just not showing his best football in United colours. Yeah,
you said something very important just now, Brent, and I think the point has been made. I've had this discussion with a lot of sports people in the past, and almost any player will look good in a highlights reel, because that's what highlights do. But to be very honest and fair, I have seen highlights reels with Martial, and there were moments. You used the word moments just now about some of the flashes. That was the word you used. And he really appears to have a lot of quality. So what is keeping him back? Because he just doesn't consistently show the quality that apparently is somewhere very, very deep inside of him.
Yeah, I think, Lance, it sounds like I'm making an excuse for him. And I think a lot of a young player's development, when you talk about he came over as the most expensive teenager, put a pin in it right there. He was a young man coming into a Manchester United that was going through transition. A young player of what is expected of him needed the right sort of dressing room to develop. Now let's go for an example of Paul Pogba that left Manchester United and went into a very settled Juventus locker room, and he was able to flourish. Here's an Anthony Martial that comes into a Manchester United locker room that seems to have upheaval, changing of the guard, different persons coming in. are not clear as to what the leadership is there. So his development, I think, was impacted by that. Again, it's not a point that many want to go down that road, because it's very easy to just say that he hasn't been good enough. And I agree with that. But at the same point in time, I think if you look a bit deeper, I think he never really had that platform to develop on. And it's one of the reasons why he's been so inconsistent.
Yeah, and Brent, it's clear that he's going Sevilla on loan till the end of the month. But, let's be real here. Do you think that we will ever see him return to Manchester United?
Listen, I think for Anthony Martial, this is it. And football is a very cruel sport. But I think if it's either one or two ways. He goes to Sevilla and absolutely smashes it, become a hero, and Sevilla puts in a bid, or Manchester United wants to keep him. Or I think he doesn't do well, and I think I just don't know where he would go from there. I think that would be the end for him. And that is how critical this move is as for him as a player. I think this is it. This is where the rubber hits the road. And for a player that has been so inconsistent, I think he is going to have a lot of pressure on him. Remember, this is a Sevilla team that is in striking distance of Real Madrid and is looking to compete for the La Liga title. He's not coming in to find his footing. He's coming in with expectations, and the expectations is to help Sevilla win a La Liga title.
Yeah, you mentioned something which is important to this current narrative, Brent, because they need him to score goals. Last season, in the back end of the season, Sevilla had scoring issues. And even this year, they don't have that potency up front. None of the leading scorers in La Liga at the moment are in a Sevilla shirt. So there is immediate pressure on him to perform. And Sevilla will almost demand that of him. Do you think, knowing his ability and maybe a fresh atmosphere, that he will warm to this assignment and probably get things done for Sevilla, because they need him to?
Yeah, they need him to. I think if you look at Sevilla play, you're right. They're lightweight up front. I think their leading goal scorer is not even in double digits. And it's a team that is crying out for that sort of player. Now, if he comes in and plays the way that we know Anthony Martial can play, he's not only going to complement and help Sevilla, I think he's going to complement and help himself. He's going to enjoy it, because they are a football playing team. They like to play, they like to pass, there's great movement, and they enjoy having their attacking players play off the line. However, if he goes in and sulk and what we've seen from him in occasions of Manchester United, he won't do well. I think the real question is the way he is received by Sevilla. And I think Lopetegui, as a manager, has a lot of man management to do with Martial. He is going to come in on the side of untrusting, low in confidence. So I think he's going to have to start very early in terms of picking that side of things up, the mental side of the game. Because I think if you ask anyone, I think that's the side of the game I think Martial struggles a bit. There's no way a player of that ability and that can do so much in a football game is so inconsistent. And so you'd have to suggest that it's going to be a lot of man management involved, of course, to get him to where he needs to be.
All right, Brent, we'll watch this La Liga experience for Martial. And, I have a sneaky feeling that he's going to do well, Brent. So let's see what happens here with the 26-year-old Frenchman. Thanks,
Brent. I think we hope so. Yeah, we hope so. We do.
Yeah, we'll talk. After the break, we talk some more football. We go to the UWI for what has happened so far today. Well, not so far today, what hasn't happened today in the finishing matches in round 2 of the Jamaica Premier League. Back in a moment.